Okay, we're live. We're live. Saturday night with Clive. It's Saturday night in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
What time is it?
8:43 p.m.
8:43 p.m. Okay, Clivey. I just decided to have a live show with you. You sent me a text. I thought, hey, let's do it. The plans changed a little bit, so I had some spare time, and I wanted to talk to you.
I
just decided to have a live show with you. You sent me a text.
My bad.
Okay, no problems. I just wanted to say to you, Clive, I've been doing some experimenting for up and coming episodes on the ArchieLuxury channel.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard what I did. How's this for a bit of strategy? On the dating sites, instead of saying I'm younger than I really am, I've gone and said I'm older than I really am. And what I basically work on the premise is I may be an ugly, overweight 45-year-old, but I'm pretty good for my age as a 55-year-old. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So the chicks kind of think, oh, geez, he might be a bit porky, but he's not bad for 55. So you get the pick of the pick. And it's just a different strategy, you understand? Because it's a strategy of life. You've got to use these strategies. And I wanted to tell you, as far as it goes now, I tried that strategy, and I've just been testing. I'm doing some market research on women, okay?
Okay.
And what I did originally was, when it says intent, I said actively seeking a long-term relationship.
Okay.
I did some baiting. I set some traps out there, and I had a few offers, okay? And then what I did was I went and changed a few things. I changed the intent to wants to date, but nothing serious. And I changed the wording in my profile saying, I have been divorced before and I cannot afford to give away any more houses. Sorry, girls. Due to property laws in Australia, I cannot live with a lady without fear of losing what little I have left. I want a friend, lover, companion. I don't want to give another house away. And what do you think happened to the live ones I had on the end of the stick? What do you think happened?
Lost interest.
They lost interest. They lost interest. They came back to me and they said to me, this is what they said to me, because I think it's very important that the viewers can understand what sort of happens. They came back to me and said, hi, it's nice to chat, because this one even rang me on the phone. And I don't want to waste both our time. I am very fussy woman. I don't think we fit each other lifestyle. Good luck. What does that mean exactly?
Me love you long time if you buy me house.
I see. So you know what you should do whenever you get a Dear John letter like that? What do you think the best thing is?
Celebrate.
I sent a reply back, because you never know your luck in the city. I agree. Would you be interested in an FWB type relationship? I think you have the best boobs I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, so that was probably that was probably the only part in the entire interchange that was remotely honest, and something tells me that probably didn't go terribly well.
She comes back, no thank you, I value my body, good luck. So,
well, so you're saying honesty is not the best policy?
honest, you do not be honest with the police. You don't talk to the police, for starters. You do not talk to the police. You
Right.
do not talk to, and trust no one. Trust no one. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. And I'm just doing some market research for the channel, and I just wanted to tell you that this is what happens. They get cold feet. Okay?
So what do you intend to do with this market research for the channel? Where is it going?
Where's it going? Well, it's future stories for the channel.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of a bit of a stumbling block. The other thing is I wanted to talk to you is, why haven't you ever bought a Corvette, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, Clyde? Why, Clive? Why?
Don't want to?
You're in the greatest country in the world for cars. There's the cheapest bang per buck. You've got great cars available. Like okay, forget the Ferrari and the Lamborghini. We know they're trouble. But what about a Corvette? A Corvette.
I don't have any need for a Corvette. I had a nice little Trans Am growing up.
Yeah, that's not the same. That's not the same. A Trans Am ain't no Corvette.
There's a 78 with a 403. That was a pretty quick little car.
Yeah, but come on, you need a vet. A vet. A vet. No? You don't?
No. Speaking about needing a vet, how's that? I noticed that cough hasn't really gone away.
No, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Really? It seems like it always makes an appearance in every video.
No, it's okay. It's
Okay.
just the asbestos dust in the room. That's all.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, actually, you really need to take better care of yourself, I think.
Why do you say that?
Well, the cough doesn't go away.
Yeah, no, I've been okay now. I've been okay. I've been okay.
What are you wearing today?
Breguet. 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 It's the Breguet. The Breguet. The Breguet. The Breguet.
Nice.
So, Clive, I wanted to talk to you. The other thing is so you've had no desire to buy a vet?
Correct.
A Mustang?
No, not really.
You see them as a waste of money, or what's the go with that?
Depreciating asset, yeah. Higher insurance, higher everything else. So,
have you got a lock-up garage at home?
No, I don't. I have covered parking.
Okay, so that's not quite the same, is it?
No, not nearly.
And you love your watches. I suppose your money goes into watches, doesn't it? Not car repairs.
No, because not really car repairs, because I buy a reliable import. But that is correct. What? Yeah, actually, today I've been kind of messing with my blue dial Datejust.
Okay, tell me some interesting things, Clyde.
About what?
Tell me your collection. Tell me some insights. What problems as a collector do you have there? Do you scrutinize? Do you put a NATO on? Do you not put a NATO on? What do you buy next? Tell me the perils of being a collector.
Well, I mean, not doing the research is probably a peril. Actually, let me look in the comments real quick. Cardigan is for life, not just for Christmas. Clyde, you're a funny SOB. Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yep, very funny, Clive. You're a great guy. I love doing the shows with you.
Yeah, likewise, actually. But, you know, you seems like the best parts are always after the camera cuts off, but that's all right. Okay, didn't know if you're back. Sorry, I'm just using one computer this time.
No, that's okay.
Impatience is one.
Yes.
Get something stuck in my head and just, you know, thinking about it, analyzing. Sometimes I'll get it just to shut the brain up about it. Not doing enough research about it. And sometimes it's just about following the herd. So sometimes go ahead.
Now, what do you think of my idea where I have a Rolex, I have a wristwatch, which I give to a woman who I'm going out with whilst I'm on the date? What do you think of that as an idea?
Does it have a tracker on it?
A what?
A tracker?
A tracker.
Yeah. Like you can track where she goes?
No, she just wears it whilst I'm on the date. Then when the date's over, she gives it back.
See, I'm almost thinking if it had like some sort of a chip like an Apple Watch on the bottom side.
It'd be okay.
Where you use it as a lie detector, that would be awesome.
Yes, I see.
Oh my God, there's a business plan right fucking there.
Yes, I see. So did you ever watch that Jeremy Kyle? He does that sort of things.
No, I've never heard of Jeremy Kyle. Is he related to Gomer Pyle?
No. Jeremy Kyle. Kyle, not Pyle. He does these lie detector. But, I mean, lie detectors aren't admissible in Australian courts. Are they admissible in US courts?
No, they're not admissible at all. But, you know, actually, one of the things I was looking into, I've got a good friend of mine, a roommate of mine in undergrad. He was career military, also a doctor.
Yes.
He had a very promising career. But he adopted a kid, apparently even as a toddler, she was troubled, bought a baseless charge of sexual abuse on him. Ooh. And he was able to clear himself, but it still destroyed his career. Of course, keep in mind he retired at full colonel, and you know there are limits on how far you can go up, even in the Air Force as a doctor. But he became an Iron Eagle after that.
An Iron Eagle? What's an Iron Eagle?
An Iron Eagle is someone who's not going to get promoted to general. They've reached the top.
Iron Eagle. Gee, that's pretty nasty. He adopted this kid, and she accused him of this. That's pretty awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. But even he was able to even clear himself of the charges, but it's still stuck. It's still there's.
What did his wife say? What did his wife say?
Wife supported him.
Okay.
Basically, I think.
But he was a doctor. He was a doctor, a medical doctor.
Correct.
He could go back. He could go into practice, but couldn't he? He wouldn't have to stay in the army, would he?
Or Air Force, yeah. But then again, he's got a nice little retirement as a colonel, so you could always double dip, collect the retirement, and then get a medical position somewhere else.
How old is he when he retired?
Well, that's about my age, so I would guess just under 50.
Hey, that's great. That's great. You're just under 50, aren't you?
Correct.
Are you worried about, as we get older, we've got less years in front than we've already spent? Does that worry you?
Sometimes. Sometimes, just like there comes the realization when you finally realize I'm not 18 anymore. And physical limitations are already starting to come into play a little bit. Eyes don't work as well at night anymore. I don't like driving at night if I don't absolutely have to.
Yeah. It used to never be a problem.
Nope. Not at all. Used to, if I had to, I could drive 18 hours a day and it wouldn't even bother me. Now it's just like after 2 or 3. Now after I drive to Dallas and back, it's just like, almost need a chiropractor, or at the very least a day to recuperate.
If you had that vet, you wouldn't have that trouble.
Oh yeah, because vets are really known as luxury cars. Premium suspension.
So, Clive, what's happening with your watch collecting? What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to probably go with Uberoki to this gun show in Tulsa in early November. And I'm going to kind of, yeah, that's another limitation is eyesight. Do you really have to use 2 pairs of glasses to look at your breguet, or are you just micro-examining it?
No. One pair is reading glasses. It slight stigmatism in one eye, and the other pair is a magnifying glass.
So you've got 2 pairs of reading glasses on. I mean, magnifying. A reading glass is by definition a slight magnifier. Yeah. Couldn't you just get a jeweler's loupe, or do you have one in
I got
one?
This is better. I do have a jeweler's loupe. I wouldn't go anywhere without a jeweler's loupe. Clydie.
Nice.
I see that you haven't actually done any decorating with that horrid sponge you call a bed.
Well, I kind of halfway straightened the sheets out a little bit. It's been, like I said, it's been a long, tough week.
Have you changed the sheets this week?
Yes, I have.
I used to change them once every 6 months when I was a bachelor.
Okay. Thanks for the insight.
When you start to itch, that's when you start to change them. Wash them in hot water.
Yeah, that's because of bed mites. But yeah, I've got like 2 or 3 ones, but they're all pretty much.
You can also use Mortine. Spray your mattress with Mortine. That gets rid of them too.
Mortine. Okay. Oh, I've also got a really good.
But you can develop a really nasty cough, which is from the pesticides.
Right. Do you use the pest? So do you just use the pesticides on the bed, or do you use it on yourself as well, or do you have the vet dip you or something?
Yes.
Nice.
Another fashion tip I've learned is that I can't say this because I've given it to Rich as an exclusive. So what are you going to do with your collection? You're feeling a bit down. Why don't you buy another watch? That's an ultimate pick me up. Well,
actually, I'm waiting for Uberoki to get some pictures back of the Breitling, the AOPA Navitimer from the 50s. And before I make a move on it, I'm going to take the pictures up and I'm going to put them on a couple of Breitling boards and let the real Breitling nerds look it over.
Breitling Source. That's the best Breitling. Have you heard of Breitling Source?
Yes, I have. I've been looking on there, and
I've been banned from there a long time ago.
Why did you get on there and call them all shitters?
No, I don't. They don't sit. They're Canadians. Okay, they didn't like my anti-Canadian stance. Okay.
Well, that's awfully impolite for Canadians.
Canadians are pretty cool, usually.
Yeah, well, they're very, very polite. I like that. Okay. So anyway, so I'm going to do that. I've got plans to go to Tulsa in early November, first weekend, and be turned loose on the dealers only afternoon.
You looking forward to buying a Pepsi? Pepsi coming back with a Pepsi then, if you're lucky.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Look for a 1675.
So tell me this, Clyde. You're not going to take any more divorces. You very careful with the divorces you do take.
Well, the trouble is, they're all crazy to a certain degree, and I also found out, I also found out if one of the parties involved is a nurse, you charge twice as much.
Nurses are trouble, is that right?
Big time trouble.
Why is that?
They're control freaks, for lack of a better word.
Nurses are control freaks.
Yeah.
I see.
Teachers, not quite as bad. Of course, if either one is a doctor, then of course you triple the price because they're a doctor.
They're a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, they also have deeper pockets. So some people are like that. If you could, they value quality with price.
I see.
So it's the same thing. The same thing is that you know, you can do a misdemeanor or first-time DUI for like $1,000, or on the other hand, you could charge $4,000 or $5,000, and some people will automatically think, well, this guy's charging $4,000 or $5,000.
He's
obviously
better.
Yes, yeah, and it's not.
Tell me that. You've had clients who have gone inside the big house?
Yeah.
What did they say about it?
It sucked.
I was talking to someone who works at the big house the other day. They're a prison officer, and they said, if you can imagine the scum of society, the biggest bunch of bullies, standover men, the absolute dregs of society in one spot, that's what a prison is. And he said to me, as soon as you go in, so say you come in for whatever reason, they will say to themselves, what can I get out of this guy? How can I extort money? How can I get any leverage, anything of value out of him whatsoever? If they see that you've got visitors coming to visit you, they will tell you to put money into a certain betting account. If you don't, they'll send someone around to knock at your family's door. They know no limits, and they've got nothing. People inside there have no money, nothing to lose. They're just mean, nasty critters. They're not really. It's really quite awful. Would you? Is that the same in America?
Yeah, probably maybe even worse, quite frankly.
I see.
You know, you've got a bunch of caged animals with nothing to lose.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, our prisons, though, are so full that just because of a matter of economics, there's almost a bit more of an open door policy. So if it's a nonviolent crime, a lot of times, you know, you're in process, they'll put you to like minimum security or some sort of work release program, or quickly
you
get
mean
you.
like if it's white collar, that they'll do that?
White collar, drug offenses, something along those lines.
What happened to that client? Not mentioning details, of course. You said a client, you told her to start putting some money aside. Did she do that?
That's pretty prescient on your part, because coming back. Yeah, we're coming back on Monday afternoon, so we'll see. No word, no contact from her yet. So
yeah,
I know. Yeah, so it's just like if it were me, I would be. Yeah, I have trouble getting a hold of her. So we will see. I had an old judge that said, one of these days, Clyde, you're going to have to learn to care as much as they do.
Ha 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 ha. I see.
I don't know. Hopefully, so I've got actually what they're called motions to accelerate.
Yes.
And it's a lot easier burden for the state to meet. It's relatively easy because, you've been sentenced, you were given terms and conditions of probation, you've either done them or you haven't,
yes, or
you've either committed a new crime or you haven't. And even for the new crime part, the burden for the state is a lot lighter. It's preponderance of the evidence, or more likely than not. If the trier of fact decides they're 51% sure that you committed a new crime, then you can be accelerated on the old crime. It's possible on the new crime to take it and even be acquitted.
I see.
Lose on the acceleration. So these two are going to probably cost me some sleep tomorrow night, if not tonight.
I see. You need to learn to care about it as much as your clients.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I see. I see. Do you do much bankruptcy work in America?
No, I used to work for a couple of guys who did bankruptcies. Just, relatively simple stuff like,
yeah.
Chapter 7s. They really tightened down the bankruptcy laws back in 03 or 04.
Yeah.
Instead of they're wanting to do it wage earner bankruptcies or Chapter 11, to where that way it draws out the process and more unsecured creditors get something out of your paycheck for the next couple of years before you get the discharge.
Oh, I see.
But
Tell
if you're
me
a
this.
wager, go ahead.
Do you think the average American is handling their money well or atrociously?
Atrociously.
Atrociously.
Yeah, the average American is like, what is it, 3 paychecks away from bankruptcy, something along those lines. Something happens to their income, they suffer an unexpected financial setback like health problems. You know, basically 3 months away, maybe. No savings, debt, wages going down, cost of living going up. It's not a great situation.
How many weeks away from bankruptcy are you?
With no money coming in, I try to keep a prudent reserve. So,
would you classify your watches as a reserve?
No, I wouldn't. I think if need be, can I liquidate them? Yes. Can I liquidate them quickly without receiving a loss? Probably not. Not with the current economic climate. It's a little bit better than it was because the oil patch Rolexes have dried up. So that means eventually demand is starting to slowly overtake supply.
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to sell one, everyone's wanting a bargain.
I see.
Tire kickers, and if I put another one up, I'd probably use something like Craigslist. And besides local sell only, cash only, no one under the age of 35.
I see.
20-year-old entitled turds.
Yes.
Think the world, generation-wise, that think the world owes them a favor.
Yes.
Well, I don't give a shit if you're a student. I don't get, this is how much I'm asking. This is how much it's worth. I don't give a shit about your financial situation. If your financial situation is that bad, then
don't buy a Rolex.
Yeah, exactly.
Clyde, can I get you to cover me for a minute? You just start reading the comments and the questions.
Sure.
I'll be back in a minute, okay?
Okay, Gilberto Montalvo. No, I do not have a Rolex Daytona. I could have pulled the trigger on one, but I just bought the President this Christmas time. I just bought the President, so I didn't really, kind of sapped up my funds, and it quickly got snapped up. Okay, like Lester Puppet, I'm not going to read that one. They'll turn you into a ladyboy in prison. You're damn straight they will. Clyde has a shitter collection. Well, you're entitled to your opinion. How do Clyde and Arch know each other? It's through the channel. Actually, I've paid for advice for him on a number of occasions. Clyde is a bowl of depression. Well, okay. I'm in Oklahoma, so it's a dust bowl depression. Let's see. Anyone under the age of 35 I would be amazed would care about buying a Rolex. Believe it or not, they do exist, but they all, Clyde, talk about your gun show versus Aussie gun control. I'm not really a firearms advocate, to be honest. I've fired M16s with a couple of times 45 millimeters, not 45 caliber in the Army, pistols, but I just don't really see that. Okay. If you've ever been through a divorce, you really don't want a firearm in the house, and let's just leave it at that. Do I make more than $100,000 a year? A gentleman never tells. What book is Archie getting reviewed next? I don't know. You'll have to ask him when he comes back.
Hello.
Hello, Michaela. Hold it. Hello, Michaela in Washington State. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
No, I said hello, Michaela in Washington State. They said if I said that, they'd send you $5 through PayPal.
Yes. For what doing?
For me to say hello, Michaela in Washington State.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Michaela, that's 3 or 4 times, so up the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
It's asking, do you masturbate to ladyboy porn? I don't think that's one's probably meant for you.
No.
Yeah. It's asking how much I make. None of your business. Suckerhorn!
Suckerhorn's there?
Suckerhorn's on the board.
He's more than welcome to come on. If he wants to come on, I'd invite the Suckerhorn on.
And, of course, the usual comments, as always. Clyde, sell me your no-date sub. See, no, I hate to say
keep it. Keep it, Clyde. Keep it. Keep it.
It just always comments on the board. But the thing is, it's almost a virgin. If there's not, I mean, I think Bob's watches couldn't ding me on it. That's how good of condition it's in. It is that minty. I could use it to brush my teeth with and gargle.
Now,
the bracelet has never been worn. Guy put it in a rubber B-strap as soon as he got it.
Beautiful.
So, oh yeah, actually, you had those a couple of times, didn't you?
I never had a rubber B.
But no, I mean a no-date sub 140s.
Now, yeah.
Now, did you have the regular one, or did you have the later M model?
No, I never had an M.
Right. Now, did you like the 2-line or the 4-line?
Mine were always 2 lines.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's mine.
Purer.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. It's almost a little. It's almost a little cluttered with the 4-line. Well, yep. Let's see, what other comments do we have? Okay, bring on Suckerhorn. Yeah, actually, you look like Grandpa Max from Ben 10. No idea who that is. Why does America have strict prostitution laws? Because conservatives don't want to see anyone having any fun. Some of us, okay, Clyde, some of the successful but not stupid rich guys love a Rolex as their 50th birthday present. Don't want a vet or a new wife. Now, obviously, that's an awesome birthday present.
What's that? Well, what they want for a 50th birthday present?
Rolex, the watch you find boring.
Thank you.
What do you think about Shinola watches there?
Who?
Shinola?
Shinola, the ones from Detroit.
Yes. Maybe you could move to Detroit and be the spokesperson for Shinola.
I could afford to buy a big house in Detroit, I'm told.
And you could be a spokesperson for Shinola watches. And you could say, I know shitters, I can tell shitters from Shinolas.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Clyde, I got to tell you, honestly, is Detroit safe to live?
No, it's not.
Where would you go if you didn't? If you were me, if I wanted to live in America? See, the problem is I don't have a green card,
right?
So I couldn't really live there. I can't work there. It's pretty.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of people working without a green card.
Yeah, but I don't like to do things. I'm an Australian, right? I got a British passport.
Right.
I got an Aussie passport. Just hang on, one tick there.
You could claim asylum, basically. Wait, are we?
We're getting deliveries, Clydie.
Oh. Pizza Pagoda features backyard drink deliveries in glass containers. That's awesome.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.
What is that?
It's a flat white.
A flat wine? It almost looks like
flat white. Flat white. Not a terribly good one.
Okay. Looks like Ovaltine or something.
Clyde, I got to tell you, do you remember when they had the 1977 was, how many years of America was that? No, 1976. What was the anniversary? The big, huge anniversary?
Bicentennial was 76.
76. That's when Jimmy Carter was president.
Right.
And you had that special train. Remember the bicentennial train that went around America?
Vaguely, yeah. I was like 9 years old, but yeah.
Tell me what, in this day and age, you know, in the 1950s. Okay, so you were born in the 60s, right?
Right.
So we're talking Kevin Wonder Years type of age.
Yeah.
Tell me this, in your opinion, as a 50-year-old, a man approaching 50, what the hell went wrong from all that idealism in the 60s and 70s until now? What is it? Is it drugs that's caused the problem? Is it, what is it? What is it that has stuffed? Why isn't America as great as it should be?
I wouldn't say, well, okay. How great should America be, quite frankly? And I think a lot of the problems that America is facing is being faced by the world. You know, globalization of markets, globalization of labor. You know, I know we lost our manufacturing base because of cheap labor, but then again, we've always been addicted to cheap labor. The 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Slavery was the ultimate in cheap labor.
Well, slavery. Well, but even at the same time, you also had wage slavery with the immigrants. Immigrants would come in, even in the North, the industrialized North, where they didn't have slavery, and wage slavery. Hire the mix and the other immigrants off the boat, work them cheap, work their asses off. So actually, the post-war boom was almost a temporary blip. But you know, when you really think about it, though, I mean, we had manufacturing jobs then. People are making more relatively, but you know, we still had inflation during those times, and also it seemed like our domestically produced goods were expensive and not particularly well made. So
when was this?
You know, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know,
weren't particularly good quality.
No. Cars especially. You know, the 70s were not exactly the apex of American automotive engineering.
Oh, why is that so? Because of the unions? What was it?
Well, I think partially the unions, which were kind of probably run by the mob mostly, and also the same problem that's accounted today. You know, big corporations run by accountants.
Ah, these bean counters. Instead of change, yes,
we can put this cheaper part in the car. It won't operate as reliably, but we'll save $4 per car. And
if we do have to pay out, by the time it goes through arbitration and the court system, it'll be cheaper than actually putting the $4 part in.
Exactly. But you know, nowadays, of course, we have all the benefits of the Chinese cheap labor and the overseas cheap labor. And actually, when you think about it, Latinos, all the legal Latinos, it's not like Americans are really lining up to stand out in 100-degree heat and mow yards 12 hours a day for like $6 an hour or $7 an hour. Or so, you don't see a lot of Anglos tarring roofs.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So tell me this, Clyde, what is the problem? What went wrong there? You're saying it's cheap labor. What is it? Is it drugs? Well, if you could change one thing about your time as a kid to now, I know there was still drugs when you were a kid, but it wasn't as endemic as it is now, would it?
No, there's still a lot of drugs when I was a kid. It was just softer drugs, like marijuana was the big one. That was really before maybe a little bit of heroin, but I don't recall hearing a lot about heroin over here in the heartland at the time. Just a whole lot of pot and beer. You know, as a matter of fact, I remember in high school, they had a glass atrium in the middle of the high school, and they had someone from the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics coming out and showing us all these samples of drugs so we'd know what to look for and avoid it. And of course, these little plastic containers.
Oh, it went missing.
No. just a little thing, marijuana. It looked like it'd been in this container for 20 years. And someone said, well, what does marijuana look like just growing? And he said, well, and the guy's like, it looks like that bush, like over there. It looks exactly like that. So there was so literally this thing had grown up, this atrium had been, administrators, everyone walking by it for decades. And apparently there's this ginormous freaking marijuana plant that was probably 6 feet tall that everyone had just blithely ignored, not even paid attention to. And what they thought was probably someone, years ago, probably stomped, smoked a quick joint, stomped it out in the dirt, and the thing just grew up.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was hilarious. So we got a lot more drug lectures after that. But,
you did.
Well, yeah, but to go back, at least today, at least we're getting the benefits of all the cheap labor and the cheap consumer goods.
Would you agree America has never been so rich as it is now?
I'd say the standard of living, because of the cheap consumer goods, it's possible for us to actually have lower incomes, but a higher standard of living. I mean, even if you're on public assistance, even if you're living in the projects, you still have a cell phone and you still probably have a flat screen TV.
I don't actually have a TV, speaking of if that's a standard of achievement.
Okay, well, you're not on public assistance either in America.
No, that's very true. So, Clyde, tell me this. Is America, this is the thing I wanted to ask you. In the 60s and 70s, there was such optimism. It was going to be great. It's always...
No, there was not. There was not optimism in the 60s. There was more pessimism. In the
50s and 60s?
50s and 60s, yeah, but that was a little bit before my time. As a matter of fact, I can remember President Carter talking about, the whole malaise comment.
Yes.
That we're just... And then Reagan,
expect
Reagan
less.
just...
Ate him alive with that comment, didn't he? He said,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
Americans. We shouldn't be thinking of expecting less.
Yep, and the whole shining city on a hill thing. But in Britain itself went through the same, more or less the same economic processes like 20 years later before and after Thatcher. But yeah, there's all sorts of gloomy, no optimism at all. Inflation is what I kept hearing over and over again.
Okay, so the drug problem, how bad is that in America?
It's endemic.
I see.
Built in. Of course, alcohol is still cheaply available and freely available. All you have to do is just raid mom and dad's liquor cabinet, or pay someone, hey, will you get this for me? And here's an extra $5 in it for you. I'll meet you outside. Yeah, a lot of drugs. I don't know if I have a radical solution for it.
Yeah.
I guess just say no.
Does it make you sad how America's become?
We have potential. We've always had potential. If we can just figure out what we need to do and agree upon it, I think we can do anything.
Do you think America will go back into the space race, or that was just a waste of money?
No, definitely not a waste of money. Actually, for every by the way, I was able to ask the older sisters about it. My great aunt was was a babysitter for Tom Stafford, so the whole thing about meeting the Apollo program did in fact happen. I was like a toddler, but they were at least early teenagers.
I see.
Anyway, for every dollar I think we put in the space race, I think we got at least 2 or 3 back. The technology that we put into it was used in all sorts of applications on Earth. Now, if you were to say what technology other than Tang, I would probably have to think about it, but I know there were some.
No, 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 no. I understand. Tang. That's right. I remember that. That's the orangey drink. That was a. Geez, I didn't think that was an achievement, but anyhow, that was a space program thing.
Oh yeah.
We used to have these things called space food sticks. They were like a chocolate stick that was just space food sticks. They were quite.
We have those too. Now, did they have Pop Rocks when you're growing up?
No, no, never heard of that.
Wow. Okay. You would. It's like a. It's kind of hard to describe. Very, very hard candy, but you'd pour them in your mouth and they would pop.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Pop Rock.
yes. Yeah, I know. That we called them something else. Yes, yes, yes.
Pop Rocks. And the story we always heard is if you swallow, if you got two things of Pop Rocks at once, swallow them and chugged down a soft drink at the same time, your stomach would explode.
Yes.
That was one of the big things we always heard.
Clyde, Clyde, tell me this. The space program. Okay, that's great. That was a huge, huge thing there. With the drug situation, is that ever going to get better, or you think that is?
Hard to tell. I mean, it could be actually smoking.
I don't know why they don't bring out a drug that stops you being addicted to meth or something. Why can't they bring out another drug to stop you?
Well, they actually have drugs like that stop you from being addicted to heroin. You know,
Yes.
methadone being the old standby, and Suboxone as being the other one, and
Yes.
it's almost as bad. So instead of walking around illegally high, you're walking around legally buzzed.
Oh, I see. Legally buzzed. Clyde,
Yep.
I got to tell you, the depression is a huge thing that's hit the American workforce. You know, it's the times, they seem so.
The times they are changing.
Yeah, but they seem such. Everything was going to get better, but no one factored in that when communism. See, Reagan promised us when Russia became to capitalism, the world would be great. We never knew. I think we were better off with Russia as an enemy instead of this terrorism and ISIS stuff. You know what I mean? The world's gone crazy. We never would have thought it would turn this way. You know what I mean?
You know, I still think it's all economics. Of course, you know, we supported corrupt puppet governments that kept their citizenry oppressed and poor. I hate to say it, but if you have a bright future ahead of you, you're probably not going to strap on a dynamite vest and walk into a deli in Tel Aviv.
Good point. Very good point. Very good point there. Vietnam was a complete waste of money, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Waste of money and lives.
That was a terrible war. And if Kennedy hadn't have been killed, we may not have turned out the way it did turn out.
Well, and the thing is, I think Kennedy, of course, one of the things, Kennedy at least was a junior officer in the Navy.
Yes.
So he kind of had a little bit of a basic idea about how the military worked.
Yes.
And dealt with senior officers, of course, there. So kind of had more of a broad picture than Johnson did, who was just always a civilian.
Yes.
And Kennedy also got screwed over by the armed forces and the CIA and the Bay of Pigs, and he kind of took that lesson to heart. I'm not going to blindly follow what these subordinates are telling me. I'm going to question everything.
Yes.
And had it been another president, a purely civilian president, during the not the Bay of Pigs, but the Cuban Missile Crisis, there may not have been a Vietnam War because there may not have been a Vietnam.
Yes. Yes.
Johnson, on the other hand, it's just like scared of being seen, you know, domino theory, terrified about being seen as soft on communism. You know, did we really give two shits about Vietnam? Not really. That's because they had no oil.
Yes, I understand. Clyde, tell me this. In your own life itself, there, if you could talk to the 20-year-old or 18-year-old Clive, 18-year-old Clive, would the 18-year-old be happy with the 50-year-old Clive?
I don't know. That's a good question. Definitely, he was definitely more optimistic, but the personality flaws were still there at that age.
Yes.
I thought you were going to ask something like, "What advice would I give 18-year-old Clyde?" But Tuffy.
You've been very successful in your life. You've raised 2 good children.
Thanks.
You're a professional. You're a trial lawyer. That ain't easy. And you've also got a kick-ass Rolex collection. What more do you really want in life?
Pepsi GMT, obviously.
Pepsi GMT. But I mean, you've done some interesting things. You've
possibly get out and see the world and travel more. That would be kind of nice. Do it while I'm still physically able to.
Yeah, with that smoking and that weight gain you've had there in recent times, that may be better sooner than later, Clive.
True. Probably learn to manage my stress a little bit better than resorting to shit like this.
Yeah. Is that a quality cigarette you're smoking there?
Oh, it's a DeJourn Vanilla Black.
Oh, okay, cool.
Clove.
Beautiful. These are cigars.
Right.
Beautiful.
Cigars.
You don't inhale to your lungs, but do you? Okay, kind of. Okay, Clive. No worries. That's okay. Tell me this. When do you think the best time to be an American was? When was the greatest time to be an American? The 50s, 60s?
Well, the 60s, it depends upon your perspective. If you're a white guy, literally any time. If you're not a white guy, probably nowish.
Okay.
I still think we have some soul searching to do as a country and as a people, but we can pull it together anytime. There'll be sacrifices. There'll be sacrifices made, but I think the best is still yet to come.
Tell me this. Trump has been in the White House for a little while now. Has your opinion of him changed?
No.
Has he been as good as you thought he would be?
No, and my expectations were pretty low in the first place. No, it's one of those things, though. Yeah. It's like if he could have done it, if he could have come through on half his promises, hell, I'd be Trump 2020 all the way. I don't give a shit about your.
He doesn't even have his own party supporting him.
Well, no, Trump was elected because he got elected because he went against his own party. There were record numbers of Democrats voting for him. Basically, it was a discontented populace, more or less wanting to throw a hand grenade into the political status quo. Trump is a political hand grenade.
Trump also was a huge, he was good friends with the Clintons.
Yeah. I think he invited him to at least the last couple of his weddings.
Yes.
But, and actually, I think the reason why a lot of Democrats voted for Bernie is almost the same thing.
Do you think Trump's marriage to his wife is going so great, or what seems to be happening there?
No idea. I haven't paid any attention to it because I don't care. I honestly do not care.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Trump Trump as a businessman, would you do a deal with the Trumpster?
No.
You don't trust him?
No. He's been sued way too many times. He's filed bankruptcy 4 times, at least 4 times, but
not personally.
No, not personally. You're right, because he's got it set up to where his assets, his personal assets, the people invested in him.
Yeah, but is that a dumb thing to do? That's what a lot of business people do. There's nothing false with that.
When you do, well, the first couple of times, but so he's got a record of screwing over the people that's done business with him and his investors.
So you think Hillary Clinton would have been a much better choice to have there?
Well,
drain the swamp, Clive. Drain the swamp. That's such a great term. Don't you think? Just for that term, I'd vote.
Well,
for
he was definitely a better communicator, because he, I will hand that to him. But even if you're running for a high school election, like president of the student body, if you went around promising we'll have free Coke machines in every classroom, we'll have 3 lunches, classes instead of being an hour will be 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're in high school, you're going to be thinking, well, wait a minute, that's not going to really work now, is it? How's that going to happen? How are we going to be able to graduate in time without going? Like I said, I think just a hand grenade by discontented populace. It was, Trump was basically America's Brexit.
Yes, I know what you're saying. It's I got to tell you, Clyde, I get more disillusioned with politics as the days go on. I'm disappointed. And
our Supreme Court has fucked things up royally, trying to do political contributions, give it the same by corporations, the same status as protected political speech.
Now,
I personally, I mean, like I said, I still like the NASCAR rule.
Mm-hmm. What's the NASCAR rule?
Yeah. Well, if you're a NASCAR driver,
mm-hmm.
my understanding is that if you're being sponsored, mm-hmm. you've got the patches or emblems of the people sponsoring you either on your car or on your your jumpsuit.
Sure.
And I actually think it's just like, if you guys want to contribute, that's fine. We can't stop you, but there should be a rule saying that elected politicians should have to wear suits with patches of their contributors on them, prominently displayed. And the larger the contribution, the larger the patch.
I love it. I love it, Clive. Tell me this. Looking forward to the future. Looking forward to the future. What will America be great again? Greater. Are you going to buy a house soon, a property soon, an apartment, a townhouse, or you're just going to continue to rent yourself?
I'll probably just continue to rent. At least I have no hard. I mean, I can't speak for a couple of years from now, but right now I'm perfectly happy with my dungeon.
You honestly don't want to buy like a townhouse or a condo or apartment? That doesn't appeal to you at all?
No, not really. Doesn't.
Like, has property gone up, or what is it like in Oklahoma? Tell me that.
Property values have probably declined a little bit anyway because of the oil patch.
Yep.
So if I were to buying a house, probably not. Probably, if I bought one 4 or 5 years ago, well, another one probably wouldn't be worth as much, or at least if I was lucky, it would be.
You're just sick of giving these away to mad women, aren't you? That's what your problem is.
Any woman that's been with me is a mad woman.
Yes.
If they're not mad beforehand, they're mad after.
I see. So, Clive, the question is there for yourself, moving into retirement, you hope to have 30 or 40 Rolex watches?
A few kick-ass ones. I wouldn't be afraid. And again, one of the things we've talked about before in the past, you know, we're talking about the discussion about which one, like the white Daytona versus, I mean, not the Daytona, of course, that's the white Milgauss versus the white Polar. I mean, the Polar Explorer. Which one is the most collectible? And one of the things you mentioned before was, well, you have to keep in mind they produce so many of the Rolex in modern times produces so many watches.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There might be ups and downs on how much people are willing to pay for them, but none of them are really collectible, except only the older pieces. So,
do you ever worry that watches would stop being wanted at all? Like we're already seeing the younger generation. What's a watch? What do you need a watch for? Maybe in 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Well, if they quit making them at all, though, I still think the Rolex cachet will still continue. I think there will be. I still think there will be people collecting them. There'll just be even fewer of them in the long-term future.
Tell me this, Clive. Were you a fan of The Sopranos?
Never really got into it.
Okay.
Now, crime dramas, and probably actually Breaking Bad. That is actually the one that most of the district attorneys I know are into. That's the one that they say that is probably the closest one to real life.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
It's kind of a sad story with that teacher there, how he kind of... Are they so lowly paid in America, teachers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some states are worse than others, like, for instance, Oklahoma. We're towards the bottom of the nation on teacher salaries.
I see. What does a teacher earn? 30,000?
35, 40 maybe.
I see. Not a lot.
No, especially what they have to put up with. But the other thing is that the district attorneys have basically said, I mean, just sitting around the table in the courtroom waiting for the judge to take the bench or whatever, or quietly conducting her business during a lull. And they're like, if I was gonna smuggle drugs or transport drugs, I would get 2 senior citizens in an RV.
I see.
Yeah, they said no one would look them over. No one would think twice about it. As long as I don't even think the cops would call the drug dogs over on them.
I see.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, cool. I tell you what, Pontiff, it's about bedtime for me.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. There, we've got 98 viewers there, Clive. It's been great chatting to you there. It's been fantastic. We love to have you on the program. I've been a bit flat this week, Clive. I've been battling a few demons. I'm hoping to get back into the saddle very soon. I've been a little bit down. That's why I haven't made too many paid reviews. I've just had a hard time lately. So
you had time to review a $2 book? Did Gavin MacLeod pay you like for a review back when the Love Boat was still on the air and you're getting around to it now? Or help me out. I'm trying to figure that out.
I actually liked the book. Can you believe it? I bought it. I bought it at a book sale. And I just love he's got a real positive message. When one door closes, another opens. And he played Murray. It's one of my favorite actors.
Mary Tyler Moore show.
Mary Tyler Moore. I used to like Mary Tyler Moore. She was so cool. You know what I mean?
Yep.
She was very attractive. I thought she was very attractive.
Always was.
And
actually, a book I really enjoyed.
She was on the Dick Van Dyke Show. You know that she used to be on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
A little bit before my time, but saw in reruns. Actually, Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher is a really good book. Quick read, but tremendously entertaining.
I
gotta say, I think it's a page turner.
Gavin MacLeod, I kind of like him. I like him.
You don't like Princess Leia? You do not like Princess Leia, Debbie Reynolds' daughter?
I can relate more to Gavin MacLeod,
Being surrounded by seamen?
He's always been the underdog. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's.
What was the name of his character on the Love Boat?
Merle well, it started with S.
Captain Stubing.
Yes, that's it. Stuving. That's it. Yes.
You couldn't even sing the Love Boat theme. You claimed to be a fan. Not,
it was a little, yeah, it wasn't that great a show, The Love Boat, you know.
No, it wasn't. It was schlock. It was.
You know,
I think Fantasy Island, roughly on at the same time, maybe a little bit before, was a lot better.
You know which actor had appeared most on The Love Boat?
Tuffy. No, I can't take a guess. Who is it?
Florence Henderson.
Yep.
That's the sort of show.
And if you read anything about her personal life and memoirs and people that knew her, then she's a little bit of a freak too.
How's that?
A little freaky, a little open-minded. I'll put it that way. She dated Greg, the actor that played her son, Greg.
Yeah, no, that was overwritten. That's over. She went on a one date with him, so they just went out as friends. He thought he was
swinging dick.
Yeah.
No, nice.
I always liked Maureen McCormick. You know, she was gorgeous.
Marcia. Yeah.
She went a bit crazy. She was on Dr. Phil. She went a bit crazy.
I hadn't really heard about that.
Yeah, I really liked Maureen McCormick. She was, I thought she was probably the most beautiful woman of all time on television.
Oh, yeah, she was a style icon in the 60s and 70s.
And unfortunately, she just... I'll let you go. You got to go to bed. Thank you so much, Clive.
Okay, one quick question. One more quick question. We're going to have classic schlocky American TV.
Yes.
Who would you pick, Ginger or Mary Ann?
Oh, that is very, very tough. You do know they did change. They did change the Ginger, didn't they?
Later on, when they tried to bring the series back or like a special or something like that, yeah. No, the original Ginger, Tina Louise.
No, I'd have to be Mary Ann because she still looks very hot.
Okay.
Priscilla Presley. Sorry.
Which one did you have the crush on watching the original series?
Oh, I'd have to be Mary Ann.
See, yeah. Because I thought she was more approachable. Everyone thought she was more approachable, I think. Everyone kind of thinks Ginger would be a little stuck up.
Yes. Very true. And no, that's very true. Priscilla Presley. What did you think of Priscilla Presley? She was gorgeous.
Yeah, but never really prominently featured. It's just like, oh, okay, Elvis's daughter. Yep. Nice looking gal.
That was his wife, Priscilla.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a little bit of an age difference, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's right. A little bit of an age difference.
Yeah, well, I visited Graceland back in high school. So.
Oh, you did? You went and saw Graceland. How was that?
Well, I was just looking through. Of course, they kept it when he died, so it was like even back then, even within 10 years after he died, it's just like, wow, this house really needs to be updated. Very much 60s and 70s, shag carpet everywhere. But
he was a very cool guy about Elvis, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he was. He was. Special agent as well.
You know what car he drove as his... Because he always bought Cadillacs and that, but you know what car he really did buy with his own money?
Which one is that?
He had a Mercedes 600.
I could see that. People, it'd probably be the easiest, tinted out windows. It'd probably be the easiest one for him to travel around in because people wouldn't suspect it was him. Well,
the TCB number plate might have been a bit of a giveaway, don't you think?
A little bit of one, yeah.
You know, and remember he had those planes. He bought. Yeah, it's kind of because when he died, he kind of was at the end of his money. You know that, don't you? He had an entourage of people. He was really spending a lot of money.
Right.
And it's kind of sad because Frank Sinatra had his ups and downs too. You know that, don't you?
Right.
And Elvis, would Elvis be as would he have became, when he died, he became a legend, didn't he? He sort of became, right. Would he be that cool if he was still, if he lived a lot longer? That's the question.
Well, it's the JFK question.
Mm. Mm.
If he wasn't tragically gunned down in the streets of Dallas, would he just be a second or third rate politician by now? Or he wouldn't have with the South problems, he wouldn't have survived by now, but would he be as high on the, would he be as highly regarded as he was if he wasn't basically martyred by some sad, pathetic dipshit with a high-powered rifle? Well, cool. I appreciate it.
Okay, let's go. Thank you so much, Clive. And that was a good show about nothing. So fantastic.
Yeah. Almost Seinfeldian.
See you later.
Take care.